Chloe was only 6 years old back then, but for some reason, she keeps choosing the wrong men. Why in the world did she end up with Burna Boy of all people? Now she is out here doing press tours, while Burna's other woman is making fun of her. Name, driving a Lambo that is connected to Chloe's reputation. Yes, Chloe has that Lambo, but no, it was not from Burna. But that is a whole different story for another time. What we really need to talk about is how Chloe Belly got completely played, dragged, and humiliated in front of everyone. This is not just a small scandal. It is a huge disaster for her. She went from living in luxury to being left with nothing. Chloe got the worst end of the deal, and I am just being honest with you all. I am not trying to make fun of Chloe, but I feel really frustrated. It is hard to watch some women not realize the difference between a real man and someone who is just pretending. Burna is not a real man, and we all saw that from the start of their relationship. From the moment they got together, people were side-eyeing them because Burna has a long history of treating women badly. But Chloe, on the other hand, seemed to be living her best life. She was out there holding hands with him, flying around the world, and laughing in interviews, looking like everything was perfect. She looked so happy, but what we didn't know was what was really going on behind the scenes. While Chloe was out there smiling and having fun, Burna was acting like he was still single, playing games behind her back. He wasn't serious about their relationship. He had already shown time and time again that he couldn't be trusted, and it was obvious to everyone except her. He was treating Chloe like just another woman he could manipulate. It does not make sense how someone could be so blind to these things when the signs were all there. It's heartbreaking because Chloe is someone who deserves so much better than what Burna was offering her. She should have known better, especially given his past. Everyone warned her, but she chose to ignore it. It's like she didn't want to believe that the man she was with could possibly treat her badly. And maybe, just maybe, she thought that things would be different for her, but they weren't. Burna's actions proved time and time again that he was not the right man for her. It's sad because Chloe, as a woman, is someone who deserves respect and loyalty. Instead, she ended up in a situation where she was being played, just like so many other women before her. And it's even worse because she's in the public eye. She was doing interviews, showing off her relationship, and living her life like everything was fine. Meanwhile, Burna was out here doing whatever he wanted, lying, and not being honest with her. It must have been so hard for Chloe when she found out the truth. She probably felt embarrassed, hurt, and betrayed. The worst part is that this wasn't just about Burna's behavior towards Chloe. He was also disrespecting her by trying to juggle other women while he was with her. He wasn't just playing games with Chloe. He was doing it with other women too. This made the whole situation even more complicated and hurtful. It wasn't just a simple cheating scandal. It was a situation where he was playing multiple people, and no one knew what was going on. As someone who has been in relationships and has learned from their own mistakes, I can understand why Chloe might have ignored the red flags. Sometimes, when you're in love or when you really like someone, you don't want to see the truth. You think things will get better or that the person you're with will change. But the reality is that people don't change unless they want to. And Burna, I just hope that Chloe takes this lesson and moves forward with her head held high. She deserves happiness, and she should never settle for anything less. Hopefully she learns to trust herself more and never lets anyone take her for granted again. And as for Burna, well, I hope he eventually faces the consequences for his actions, even though he probably won't. He seems to always get away with everything, but it's time for him to understand that he can't treat people like this without eventually facing some kind of backlash. In the end, Chloe needs to focus on herself, her own growth, and her own happiness. It may be a hard lesson, but it's one that will help her in the future. She has to remember that she deserves the best, and that she should never settle for someone who doesn't treat her the way she deserves. And then there is the side chick. Oh, she has all the proof. Her name is Sophia, and she has been around Nigerian celebrity circles for a while. She is a working woman, if you know what I mean. What really brought Chloe into all this drama happened when an audio conversation between Sophia and her friend leaked online. In that audio, Sophia was sharing how Burna was chasing her like crazy because he wanted a piece of her. When she finally paid attention to him, he started making big promises, even talking about buying her a whole Lambo truck. Later, she shared how she was upstairs, and Ba kept calling her. When she sat next to him, he did not say anything. This all happened after some time, and it is clear there is a lot going on behind the scenes. Burna never got Chloe a Lambo. The best gift we ever saw was that watch. And yes, I know it was bought with Audemars money, but honestly, people are focusing on the wrong things here. The real problem is the disrespect Burna showed. It is not just about what he gave her, it's about his actions. How can someone have a whole girlfriend, someone who is there by their side, yet still chase after someone else, especially someone who is seen as high value, like a Lambo? That is the real question everyone was asking when they started dragging Burna for his behavior. And the crazy part is that people didn't hold back. They were all over him, calling him out for his actions. But what's even worse is that they didn't show Chloe any mercy either. The moment Sophia's voice note leaked, social media exploded. People were talking about it nonstop, sharing their thoughts and calling out everyone involved. They went in on Burna, and at the same time, they didn't spare Chloe either. It was like everyone suddenly had an opinion on her relationship. It didn't matter that she had been with him for a while, flying around the world, looking happy and smiling in interviews. Once the truth came out, people turned on both of them. When people started listening to Sophia's voice note, they heard how Burna had been playing games, promising things he had no intention of delivering. It was clear that he had been leading both women on, telling them whatever he needed to hear to get what he wanted. And even though Chloe had been living a fairy tale for a while, in the end, it all came crashing down. The respect she thought she had with Burna was all an illusion. He was out here playing multiple people, and Chloe was just another part of his game. People saw right through it, and they weren't afraid to call him out. What's frustrating is that Chloe, despite everything, didn't get much sympathy. She was just another woman caught in a messy situation, and it was hard for people to feel bad for her because of how everything played out. Everyone saw the signs, and many people were telling her to be careful, but it seemed like she didn't listen. She was caught up in the excitement of the relationship, the travels, the attention, and the good times. But once the reality of Burna's actions came to light, it was too late. The damage was done, and Chloe had to deal with the fallout just like everyone else. One of the biggest issues with the situation is the way Burna treated her. He didn't respect her enough to be faithful, and even worse, he didn't take her feelings into account. How could someone be so careless with someone who trusted them? Burna was chasing after someone else while Chloe was there, holding his hand and posting pictures with him, thinking they were building something real. But for Burna, it was all about what he could get from the situation, and that's a hard truth to swallow. People really started to question Chloe's judgment after everything came out. How could she have been so blind to the red flags? How could she not see that Burna was just using her for his own benefit? It's a tough question because sometimes love can blind you to the truth. When you are emotionally invested in someone, you want to believe that they are who they say they are. You want to think that they are loyal, kind, and genuinely care about you. But Burna proved that he wasn't any of those things. He played the game, and Chloe got hurt in the process. It also didn't help that social media made everything worse. People were quick to pass judgment on both of them, but especially Chloe. They were making fun of her, calling her names, and pointing out how she should have known better. It's easy to sit behind a screen and say what someone should have done, but it's much harder when you are the one in the situation. Chloe made her choice, and like anyone in love, she trusted someone who turned out to be untrustworthy. But people didn't care about that. They just wanted to tear her down. The reality is that Burna did not take responsibility for his actions. Instead of owning up to his mistakes and apologizing to both women, he took the easy way out. He acted like it was no big deal and continued to live his life without facing any real consequences. And that's the part that is most frustrating. He used his status and fame to get away with treating people poorly. He didn't care how it affected Chloe or Sophia. He just kept moving forward as if nothing happened. Chloe's experience shows how important it is to pay attention to the signs when you're in a relationship. Trust your instincts and never ignore the red flags. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new relationship, especially with someone who is famous or admired. But it's also important to remember that not everyone who comes into your life has your best interests at heart. Some people are just there for their own gain, and it's up to you to recognize when that is happening. At the end of the day, Chloe has to take this experience and learn from it. She needs to realize that she deserves someone who will treat her with respect and loyalty, not someone who will play games and lie to her. This situation should serve as a reminder that love should never be based on promises that are never kept. She deserves better, and she needs to make sure she doesn't settle for less than she deserves in the future. As for Burna, he may continue to get away with his actions, but the truth is, he will always have that reputation. No matter how famous he gets or how much money he makes, people will remember how he treated the women in his life. And that's something he can't escape. The damage he's done to his relationships and his reputation is going to stay with him. People were making fun of Chloe, saying that she is out here eating watches while Burna is out here promising her Lambos. And if you thought Chloe would fight back, speak up, or even throw some shade at Burna on Twitter, nope. She just started unfollowing him everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, probably even on Spotify. When a woman starts unfollowing, you know it is over. She has already checked out emotionally. Now this is where things get really messy. Sophia did not just drop one bomb, she was dropping nukes. She said Burna was selling her dreams, telling her she was the only one, promising her a Lambo truck, and then ghosting her when it was time to show up. When it came to spending money at the club, Burna disappeared. Sophia just said, whatever. Happens. She had already heard so many empty promises from him, and she was done. She was okay with Burna being like one of her friends, knowing he was a celebrity who would send her money. She had her own life and relationships, so it did not matter. She also shared how when she decided to leave, Burna begged her not to go, but she told him, "No, I am leaving," and went back home. Later, she said that she does not mess with artists because they talk too much. She expected him to have his life together by now. Burna told her, "I am on my way to LA right now, but I will call you once I land." That is how he was playing the game. He never called. He just texted me saying, "Oh my God, I am so sorry," and going on with a bunch of excuses. I told him, "No problem. I just want my car this week. What is going on?" He said, "Trust me, I am coming to Los Angeles on Thursday. We will see when I get there." But he never showed up in Los Angeles. He did not say anything. So I just blocked him that day. I even paid for my car myself. I blocked him, and that was the end of it. Now, I need to pause for a moment. Do you all understand how crazy this is? Burna was not just playing Chloe, he was playing his side chick too. This man was out here running a whole pyramid scheme of broken promises. And to make things worse, he did not even clean up the mess he made before bringing Chloe back around the same people he had been sneaking around with. Sophia straight up said that Burna brought Chloe to Lagos like she was his trophy. Meanwhile, Chloe's own friends were still hanging out with him like nothing ever happened. That is not just cheating, that is a whole community effort, and this is what really makes me upset because Chloe should have known better. She has been through this before. She has even said that she does not put up with cheating. She said very clearly that if someone cheats, she is gone. But the problem is, if she does not want to deal with cheaters, she should not be going after men who are players. Her attraction to the wrong type of men is what keeps landing her in these situations. Rappers and all these other music guys who chase anything that walks really make it look like Chloe. Same story, different woman, same clown. Instead of being a man and admitting his mistakes, what did Burna do? He went on Instagram and turned his cheating scandal into a freestyle. Yes, he took the mess he made and turned it into a song. He promised Sophia a Lambo, but in the studio, he is singing about forgetting all of that. If you are not music, that is just wild. Instead of apologizing or trying to clear the air, he basically made fun of Sophia one last time. And Chloe? Well, by this point, she is probably sitting somewhere, thinking about her life choices and wondering how she ended up in all of this. Chloe got all tangled up in some drama with a celebrity man-child. So, where does she go from here? Listen, if Chloe does not learn anything from this situation, she better take some lessons. Right now, she really needs to rebrand. People are already making fun of her, dragging her, and asking why she did not see the red flags. One fan even said, As a Nigerian, I can tell you, no one here believed he was truly into her. I always saw her as just his other thing. Seriously. Chloe needs to change her type. I was disappointed in her for dating Burna of all people. Both Holly and Chloe Bailey are hard-headed, and they do not listen when people warn them. At least Chloe got away without becoming a baby mama. They might have looked like the perfect couple, but that man had Chloe out here looking like his daughter. Personally, I think she needs to drop a powerful breakup anthem, hit the studio with the same energy Beyoncé had after Lemonade, and step out looking unbothered. And for the love of Josephine Baker, enough with the interviews. Honestly, I think she just needs to move on and focus on herself. I feel like if Chloe handles this right, this loss could turn into a win for her. But if she even thinks about going back to Burna, sis, do not do it. What do you all think? Do you think Chloe ignored the signs? Or was Burna just that good at playing the game? Do you think Burna will ever face real consequences? Or will he just keep getting away with this? And do you think he is going to try to win Chloe back with a Lambo? Or is it really over for good? Share your thoughts in the comments below.